Welcome back, guys, to another exciting episode of Questbound Reader. Guys, today we continue our quest to fill up the good old bookshelf one book at a time with your favorites and mine. So, today we have an exciting video. We're going to be talking about my 5 favorite books that I've read this year. That is 2023. I will say this, I've read about 25, 26 books so far this year, and I've had a lot of good reads. Very, very large amount of good reads. A lot of 5 stars for me this year. So let's get into my 5 favorites so far, starting now. Alrighty, guys, getting right into it. Let's start off with number 5, and that is The Shadow of the Gods. If you were following my videos, I just recently reviewed this one a few days ago. It is a great book, a Norse mythology inspired, lots of Vikings, war, fantastical element in a great world. Guys, I highly recommend you check this book out. To me, it is definitely in my top 5 for the year. Alrighty, going into number 4, that is going to be none other than The Art of Prophecy by Wesley Shue. Guys, another fantastic book. I definitely gave this one a 5 out of 5. So far, it's a standalone. I believe there's a second one coming out soon. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I believe the second one comes out in a few months, and I definitely recommend it if you like Asian-inspired martial arts. You like going into the learning school where you get in week and you learn and you build yourself as a character, as a human, then definitely check this one out. It has a lot of cool fight scenes and a very nicely described world. Definitely give this one a 5 out of 5. All right, moving on to the top 3, and let's start off. Drum roll. Number 3, that is going to be Of Blood and Fire by Mr. Ryan Cahill. Guys, I recently read this one. This is a fantastic book for me. Easy, easy, easy 5 out of 5. I love the world. I love the character building. I loved how you see these best friends who are like brothers, and by X or Y events they get separated and they're trying to find themselves and grow stronger in the process. There's crazy amount of like fighting toward the latter half of the book, and it's a great book, right? It's a coming of age story in a classic way with modern twists, I would say. So it's definitely a great read. Check it out. Talking about number 2, that is going to be Waybound by Will White. That is the last book in the Cradle series. Guys, this again is my all-time favorite completed fantasy series. I absolutely loved almost everything about this series, and I absolutely adored Waybound. I gave it a 5 out of 5, and I was so happy that I did. I was so anxious about this book. Reading or watching Matt's fantasy book reviews, when he reviewed this book, was not a hot take for him. And I was so anxious because typically the books that he likes, I like. And the ones that he dislikes, I also tend to not like. So he scored this one a lot lower than I did. And I was so happy when I read it. I will say, it's not a perfect book. Um, the ending, I loved like the time loop. I loved not the time skip. I loved everything that happened toward the end. I loved how the culmination of this progression fantasy ended. I love seeing how Lyndon and Yaren, who were both significantly weaker when the book starts or when the series starts, all the way to the end of this phenomenal book. And then they're pretty much new people by the end of this book, right? Older, wiser, stronger, smarter, and it was great. I loved everything about it. It did have some loose ends that I wish would have tied up nicer, in a nicer way. But again, Notebook is perfect. This one was just right for me, and I did give it a 5 out of 5. I recommend it to all of you guys if you like progression fantasies, if you like the training aspect of getting weaker or getting stronger when you're weaker. I would definitely recommend a book like this for you. This one was near and dear to my heart, and maybe it will be for you as well. And last but not least, drum roll once again, number 1, and that's gonna be, ready for it? Are you ready? The Wandering Inn, guys. I'm on my third book of The Wandering Inn, and I absolutely adore The Wandering Inn. It is phenomenal. It is sensational. It is maybe not for you, but maybe for everyone that likes the whole like. Okay, you guys watch anime. Maybe some of you guys do. Like you've seen those anime where you just bam reincarnate into like a new world and you have magic and you have all these abilities. it's kind of like that, but not really. So you have Erin, who is the main protagonist, and she just poof one day appears in this new world, and she has to grow and adapt and overcome all circumstances, and she meets unlikely friends. Guys, I loved with a passion book one. It started off a little slow. I did say that I had to read it, the first few pages a few times to get into it, but boy, oh boy, does it pick up! And the world is enormous. The characters are interesting. Like you have animals that are now becoming sentient, and they're monsters that are getting stronger and smarter as they learn skills. And you don't know what's gonna happen next. You really don't. And that's what I love about this book. The fantastical elements are like a 10 out of 5. The world building is of definitely a 5 out of 5. The main characters, I'll say this for Aaron and Ryoka, I give the whole character building of the book like a 5 out of 5, but Aaron, she's kind of like airheaded and silly, but kind-hearted, and then Ryoka, way too smart for her own good. And I've read from people that have commented on some of my videos and on some of my Goodreads that they get a lot better, and they kind of like mellow out as the books progress. I'm now in book 3, and I'm only picking one book of the series for this video. So I chose The Wandering Angels, which is book 1, and I loved it. Right, you fall in love and you experience loss and you experience grief, and you really get immersed into this world. So I really highly recommend you pick up The Wandering Inn if you've never read it. It's a web serial. It's free online if you go to thewanderinginn.com. Guys, please look them up. Right, I downloaded it on the Kindle because I like having the book format, and I do most of my reading on my Kindle right here. But I highly recommend you guys to pick up this book. Give it a try. Right, get through book 1, and if you don't love it, I promise you book 2 is better. So it's gotten better every single book so far. I'm like a quarter of the way through book 3, and it's a chunker, but it's a really good book. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video, and stick around for our ending thoughts. Thanks for joining, guys, at another video where we fill up the good old shelf with our favorites. Guys, I just wanted to remind you to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and watch the videos. Feel free to share any books you guys are reading that you like, or books that I've read that you dislike. Share with me your thoughts, your opinions, and yeah, I look forward to the next episode where we hang out for a few minutes again. Till then, take care, guys.